Welcome to the Ultrahuman experience. This session is free for you for the complete experience. Please download the Ultrahuman app.
Good evening. My name is Neil. Tonight, let's go out into the valley in the beautiful grasslands of Scotland. Settle down and get comfortable. Imagine a cool breeze against your face. The weather this evening is pleasant. The clouds cover the peaked mountains and the sun is beginning to set, turning the sky a bright red. The mountainside is bathed with light, filling the valley with an orange hue. The only creatures paying no heed to the beauty are the 50 woolly sheep accompanying Sam the shepherd. They are scattered all across the mountainside, while the shepherd himself sits atop a cliff, smoking a pipe. He fits the appearance of a shepherd quite well. He's got the hat that doesn't fit quite well, and a loose white tunic, tied together with an aging leather belt. A stick rests on the rock beside his thigh. Puff after puff, he gazes at the deepening sunset until the sky turns from red to purple. Now, the shepherd decides it's the time to count his flock and head back home. I'll start counting from the very furthest sheep. Then I can make my way up one by one until I get to the sheep nearest me. The flock are grazing lazily and won't move around too much. It should be fairly easy to count them, and I'm an expert on the subject since I do it every single day. The sheep furthest away is a bit of a loner sheep. I always find this one grazing all by herself. She doesn't interact much with the other sheep at all, but isn't one to shy away from the occasional headbutt. That's one. Keeping a safe distance from the loner sheep are two little lambs. One is entirely black and is clearly bored, prancing around the smaller one. The second lamb has one white sock and does his best to keep up with his energetic brother. That's 2 and 3. The mother of the two lambs also has thick black wool. I believe that this sheep has the highest quality wool of the flock. It's probably because she's not afraid to teeter on the edge of cliffs to reach the juiciest leaves she can find. She reminds me of my own rather ambitious mother. The energetic black lamb is very much like my older brother, who is clearly the favourite son in the family. Wait, does that make me the weak younger lamb with the white sock? I'm getting carried away. I'd better move on to the next sheep. This one is one of the biggest sheep around, and his horns do justice to his size. He demands respect from the other sheep. He's the boss. Quite like my late father. Wait, which number was that? Was it 3 or 4? Now I've lost count of the sheep and have to start all over again. Well, there's no hurry. The sun hasn't set, and we're not expected back in the village until an hour after dark. This time I'll start with the sheep nearest to me. This one is my favourite sheep. Or perhaps I'm her favourite human. Whatever the case, one can't deny that we share a bond. She's brown and doesn't have much wool, nor much strength. So she stays close to me. She is the only sheep I've ever cared to name. She's the easiest to pick out since she wears a tingling bell around her neck, so I named her Tingle. The next one is still a lamb, but he's large for his age. Small horns peek out from the bush of his wool. He's the serial napper of the lot, which is probably why he grows so much. The one after that is a remarkable sheep. She's the belle of the flock, and one can always find a hopeful suitor grazing near her. Her wool is white with the slightest tinge of what can only be described as pink. I've often wondered how the owner got to have such a shade. Surely the villagers would want to know his secret too. Hold on, why am I spending so much time thinking about the sheep? I'm supposed to be counting them. Once again, I've lost count of the sheep, and I'll have to start all over again. A cool breeze sweeps by the hillside, reminding me of the time. The sun has almost set, and the sky has turned a drowsy blue. It will be completely dark soon, but I still don't feel compelled to hurry. The cool breeze feels like satin against my skin. I enjoy it for a few moments, but then it's time to count the sheep again. This time, I should do it a little faster. I'll count them by size, starting from the smallest and going on to the largest. That way, I won't lose track of the count. Will I? The smallest sheep is brown and has a strangely shaped nose. That's number 1. The second smallest sheep is the little black one with the white sock. The third smallest sheep is the one who reminds me of my elder brother. He is always stealing the best grass from his younger sibling and naturally has more energy as well. One day, I had decided to separate the two so that the younger one could enjoy some grass on his own. But the little animal didn't put up with it. Well, some things can't be helped, and I didn't mind taking care of the little thing, even if the mother did favour the other one. I am pulled out of my thoughts when my pipe runs out. I slide off the rock to search my clothes for a box of matches. I pat my right pocket, then I pat my left pocket. Finally, I found it on the cool green grass. It had fallen off my lap when I got up. As I light my pipe once again, I realize I have lost count of the sheep and have to start all over again. I wonder why I become distracted quite so often. After all, how hard could it possibly be to count 50 sheep? Not very hard at all, I tell myself. As one could say, I was a bit of an expert because I count sheep every single day. It's getting quite dark. There are now stars in the sky. The moon shines on the hillside, and a cool breeze ruffles through my hair. I decide it's an ideal time to start and finish counting my sheep. There's the one who tries running away ever so often. The second is an elderly sheep with a remarkable beard. The next one is also rather old and sticks around the bearded one. And then there's the talkative sheep, who bleats twice if you speak to her. Her wool is also rather soft, making her a favourite amongst most villagers. There is also the playful little lamb who absolutely loves hiding under the mama sheep all around her. Ah, the innocence of childhood. This is why I love my sheep. Wait, which number is that? Was that number 10? I've lost track of my sheep and have to start all over again. Well, I have enough time for one last try. After all, the sun has only just set. The village is less than a mile away, and the sheep are still grazing peacefully. I could return home a little later than usual. After all, I bring back all the sheep every day without any problem. The villagers trust me for a reason, even if I am prone to getting distracted. This time, I decide to count the sheep in the order of which one I like the most. The best and first, the shy little brown sheep. The second one has got to be the gentle black lamb. And the third is the talkative sheep, because no one else keeps me company the way she does. I think she really understands me. Every time I speak to her, she replies with a bleat. I think she's communicating with me. How did she learn to bleat like that? You know, if someone were to teach all the sheep to talk, then our village would become so popular. Let me make a note of that. Teach the sheep to talk. There. Remember it, Sam. Remember, sheep talk. Sheep talk. Oh no. Once more I've lost track of the sheep and have to start all over again. This time, I'll try to do this faster. I'll first group them based on the colour of their wool, and then count them. That should make the job much easier. What a good idea. I really should have thought of this sooner. I'll start with the ones with lighter wool. There are 18 sheep and 2 lambs with light coloured wool, not counting the bell sheep with the rosy coat. I can see 6 groups of 3, which are all grown-up sheep. It's difficult to find the pair of lambs, but in the end, I find them grazing near their mothers. It would have made my job a lot easier if they didn't hide behind other sheep. Also, most adult sheep are shaped like clouds and cover more area, compared to the general shape of a lamb. Oh, I was just about to get distracted again. I'll get back to counting by colour. Next is the group of sheep who have varying shades of brown wool. There are 10 such sheep. Once again, I start pairing them up. First, I spot one pair. That's 2 sheep. Then another pair, a little further away. That's 4. And then 2 more sheep, grazing by a lamb with a lighter wool. And then another pair. Right, that's 8 in all. There are 2 more. Where are they? There they are, just behind the last pair. 10 in all. In a short time, I have placed all 5 pairs. It's much easier to do. Since this particular group doesn't have any lambs, strangely enough, all the brown sheep were grazing close to each other, making my job easier. I'm thankful towards these well-behaved sheep and their shepherd. This is how sheep should be. Finally, there remains only one group. Those are the sheep with black wool. 15 adult sheep. And 5 lambs fall into this category. That's 20 in all. Since I'm nearly done counting this time, I can't help be a little lazy and divide them into groups of 5 instead of counting pair by pair. 1 group, 2 groups. Suddenly, I realise that I've accidentally counted 2 sheep with dark brown wool amongst the ones with black wool. I've messed up my counting and need to start all over again. Well, this is turning out to be quite a task. I'm so easily distracted. One stray thought leads to another, and I am lost before I know it. Perhaps I should spend more time in selecting the best method to count the sheep. If only I can think of a way which uses my distracted nature to my advantage. Oh, I have an idea. I can count the sheep by which house they return to. Better yet, I can think of their owners. No, that would be difficult. There are too many houses in this village, and the sheep don't necessarily return to the same house every night. There are many reasons for this. The villagers often settle their accounts with sheep. If someone isn't being a good neighbour, They will often give away a sheep to make up for it. Or sometimes the sheep get mixed up and go to the wrong house. The villagers don't really care. The sheep don't really care. After all the sheep in the village will come to the hillside with me the next day. It's all a matter of where they spend the night, and it's not quite as important as getting the juiciest grass. Oh, there I go again. I've completely forgotten what I should be doing. I'm supposed to be counting sheep. But night has fallen. It's getting late. It's time to leave. I know the sheep so well, surely I would notice if one went missing. I bring back all the sheep to the village every day without losing a single one. So although I'm distracted, I'm also a responsible shepherd. Perhaps it is possible to be both at the same time. I fix the hat atop my head. I straighten out my white tunic before letting out a soft whistle. The sheep look up from their grazing and slowly begin to make their way towards me. Sam looks on with love and pride. They are his sheep, even if they go back to different houses each night. And since I know them so well, there really isn't any need to count them every day. Sam the shepherd slowly begins to make his way up the hillside. The flock of 50 or so sheep follow him obediently. And as the moon shines on the empty valley, she knows that this distracted young shepherd will be back with his 50 sheep the next morning. Good night and sweet dreams.